comparatively recent times are subjected to very different handling from what which the indulgence or credulity of former ages could allow. Mere statements are curiously watched, and the motives of the writer form as important an ingredient in the analysis of his story as the facts he record. Probability is a powerful and troublesome test, and, and it is by this troublesome standard that a large portion of historical evidence is shifted. Consistency is no less pertinacious and exacting in its demands. In brief, to write a history, we must know more than mere facts. Human nature, viewed under an interaction of extended experience, is the best help to the criticism of human history. His, uh, Historical characters can only be estimated by the standard which human experience, whether actual or traditionary, has furnished to form correct views of individuals. We must regard them as forming parts of a great whole. We must measure them by their relation to the mass of beings by whom they are surrounded, and in contemplating the the incidents in their lives or condition which tradition has handed down to us. We must later consider the general bearing of the whole narrative than the respective probability of its details. It is unfortunate for us that of some of the greatest men we know least and talk most, Homer, Socrates, and Shakespeare, have perhaps contributed more to the, the intellectual enlightenment of mankind than any other three writers who could be named, and yet the history of all three has given rise to a boundless ocean of discussion, which has left us little save the option of choosing which theory or theories are. We will follow. The personality of Shakespeare is perhaps the only thing in which city critics will allow us to believe without controversy, but upon everything else, even down to the authorship of, of plays, there is more or less of doubt and uncertainty of Socrates. We know as little as the contradictions of Plato, Plato and Xenophon will allow us to know he was one of the dramatis personae in Jew dramas, as alike in principles as in style. He appears as the enunciata, quieto, e- enunciado of opinions as different in their tone as those of the writers who have handed them down. When we have read Plato or Xenophon, we think we know something of Socrates. When we have fairly read and examined both, we feel convinced that we are something worse than ignorant. It has been an easy and a popular experience of late years to deny the personal unreal existence of human and things whose life and condition were too much for our belief. This is them which has often comforted the religious skeptics and sub- substituted the consolations of Strauss for those of the New Testaments has been of incalculable value of the historical theorists of the last and present centuries to question the existence of Alexander the Great would be a more excusable act than to believe in that of Romulus, to deny, deny a fact related in Holodu, Holodotus, because it is inconsistent with a theory developed from an Assyrian inscription which no two scholars read in the same way. This is more pardonable than to believe in the good-natured old king whom the elegant pen of Florian has idealized. Numa Pompeius. Skepticism has attained its culminating point with respect to honor and the state of our homilic knowledge may be described as a free permission to believe any theory provided we throw overboard all written tradition concerning the authors of the Iliad and Odyssey. What Few theories exist on the subject. Summarily dismissed or thought the arguments appear to run in a circle. This cannot be true because this is not true, and that is not true because it cannot be true. Just seems to be the style in which testimony upon testimony, statement upon statement is consigned to denial, denial and oblivion. It is, however, unfortunate that the professed biographies of Homer are partly forget, forgeries, partly freaks of ingenuity and imagination in which truth is the requisite most wanting. Before taking a brief review of the Homeric theory in its present conditions, some notice must be taken of the treatise on the life of Homer, which has been attributed to Herodotus.